Hey, welcome back. It's time again for another episode of CRM Radio Today. Taking a look at the latest and greatest changes in the ever-changing CRM space, with the people tracking it, leading it, guiding us through this landscape. Our Sherpa guide here today, Stacy Gentile. Hey, Stacy.
Hey, Paul.
We had another show host this morning, broadcasting live from Dublin, Ireland. I'm Irish to the core, and it's proud to welcome another Irishman. Gentile sounds like a real Irish name.
No, it's Italian. Like
it
spaghetti.
is.
Gentile, it's like spaghetti.
Gentile, hey, well, so what...
Just to give you an idea of just how Italian I am,
yes.
My one grandfather's name is Guido, and the other's grandfather's name is Ogilio.
Oh, my goodness. It doesn't get much more Italian than that.
That's right. I throw a Mario in there, and I think I hit the trifecta.
All right. Well, who'd you bring with you today, and what did we talk? You're going to play in Google's privacy sandbox? So they'd let you in there?
Yeah, well, what a mess. When you opened up the show today and you said Sherpa, that couldn't probably be any more accurate, because we're going to go up the mountain today, and we might leave a couple of dead people up there.
It's going to get ugly, folks, here. All right.
That's right. It's getting ugly. So today I brought along Jonathan Eickman, who's an independent marketing consultant, and I've known for many years. And actually, him and I just got back from Content Marketing World in Cleveland, Ohio, of all places. How's it going today, John?
Oh, it's going great. Stacy, Paul, thanks for having me.
Hey, nice to have you. The title of the show today is A Nuke is About to Hit Your Marketing Department. John and I, we had originally planned today to talk about kind of our takeaways from Content Marketing World, and I think we'll kind of start off that real quickly. But yeah, as you mentioned, Paul, something kind of popped up that course corrected us today to talk about what shenanigans Google's got going on with privacy and their sandbox stuff. There's been a lot of things that have recently came out, like GDPR and Castle in Canada, and now California's got their own data privacy protection thing called CCPA. And all of those three things in other states are developing their own independent stuff as well, but they've kind of wreaked havoc in the marketing world. But I don't think any of that is even going to be able to come close to what Google's got planned for us. With that, real quickly, John, you and I can kind of talk about some quick takeaways in a couple of minutes about what we took away from Content Marketing World, and then move into the nuclear bomb that's about to go off.
Yeah, it's good to start off with something pleasant first, right?
Right. What were some of your takeaways from Content Marketing World when we were there?
Really enjoyed the show. Of course, I'd prefer a warmer location than Cleveland, Ohio, but you take what you can get. But I tell you what, Stacy, my main takeaway from Content Marketing World is something I've been seeing across all marketing influencers over the last, 5 years. And it's that I don't know if a lot of these people talking at these shows have actually done marketing recently, because it seems to me there's a huge disconnect between what they're talking about in their sessions and what marketers in the trenches are actually doing. It seems like their theories about 10 years ahead of what people are actually able to execute on in their businesses today. And I don't know when that started, but are you seeing that too?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely am. And, we have a lot of speakers come on the program, and they do bring a lot of good insights. And I think there is value in taking a look at motherhood and apple pie, unicorns and rainbows type stuff. But yeah, when we were at Content Marketing World, one of the things that struck me the most was looking at the bios of the speakers. I mean, I think there was less than 3 sessions that we went to of people who were actually like a CMO or a person who's a marketing director, somebody who's running day-to-day operations, right, and kind of talking about the ins and outs compared to the high-level stuff, right? I mean, I think there was only 3 or less at the entire show.
Yeah. Oh, man, I think we walked out of a few sessions, too.
We did. It's like one of the things John and I was joking about at the show, not to put a bad light or anything on Content Marketing World, because there was a lot of good we took away from it, but there was also a lot of the stuff not only their show, but all the other ones. Like imagine you're a doctor or a physician and you go to a physician's conference, and 90% of conferences that you go in are like, okay, this is a hand, this is an arm, this is a leg and a foot. It's like, yeah, we get this. Can we talk about how to solve cancer or, some of the more advanced things, right, John?
Right, without a doubt, yeah. So it was like it fell into most of the sessions. Now, like you said, there were a couple of like solid gold sessions in there that I still talk about, months down the road. But it seemed like all the rest of them fell into two camps. We're either going to talk about marketing in like a picture book, easy, 101 type level, or we're going to talk about something that is so far future state that you're going to need a $5 million marketing budget to even start touching it.
Right. And I think that's another great initial segue is marketing is getting much more complicated, right? So when I take a look at the SMB guys, the small and medium-sized businesses, and I look at the tools they have to have, the different skill sets that they have to have on staff as far as personnel goes, marketing to me looks like it's getting super expensive and super complicated. I don't know how the small guys compete anymore.
Yeah, it's tough. You got to have expert level knowledge of multiple disciplines to be able to succeed in a startup or in a small, medium company. There's no way to accomplish everything without that high level expertise or a huge amount of dollars to go out and purchase the expertise.
Yeah, and now as we mentioned, all these new regulations that are coming down the pike are going to make it exponentially even more complicated. How is somebody who's got like a flower shop with very little IT experience, maybe they've got one intern doing marketing, how do they make sure that they're going to stay in compliance now with things like GDPR and CASL and CCPA and all the other states when they come out with their stuff and the technology that you need to support it? And now Google's privacy sandbox. Let's talk about that a little bit, John. What is Google's privacy sandbox?
Google's privacy sandbox is this new environment they've built where advertisers, marketers, and individuals involved in like the ad space can go and work with them on trying to come up with solutions for the problem that they're creating, which is Google Chrome has decided to follow the footsteps of Safari and Firefox before it and eliminate third-party cookies. Now, they're not going to do it just like Firefox and Safari did because they've already ripped the rug out. And you might have noticed over the past couple of years changes in like Google Analytics and the way you're seeing your data coming through. And that's been a small change based on those groups. But Google's at least phasing it out. They're giving us 2 years to plan on how we're going to respond to these cookies going away.
No, I think most of our listeners, even the people outside of marketing, know what a cookie is. It's a little code snippet that gets logged into your browser and it kind of tracks things. So now the big thing is third-party cookies, and Google is planning to get rid of those. Talk to me, John, about what is a third-party cookie and what kind of havoc this is going to wreak in the marketing community.
We've all had the experience, and some people would even call it creepy. You're shopping for a new wallet, right? And you're out looking at brown leather wallets, and then you go onto Facebook to see how your family's doing, and boom, right there's an ad for brown leather wallets. That's a third-party cookie tracking action, right? So the third-party cookie was put on your browser from the wallet or the shop you were looking at, and then that cookie follows you and makes the ad be triggered when you go to another site that is supporting one of these ad networks. This is really common in how pay-per-click ads and display ads are being delivered to consumers today. But what's going to happen is that's going to go away. So your ability to be able to market based off of browser behavioral actions, being able to market off of past views, and these buying signs is going to be completely eliminated, 100%. And it's going to all come down to first-party cookies is going to be the only data you have access to. And a first-party cookie is a cookie that you put on your site. It goes to your viewers, and only you have access to it. This is really common for like If you're shopping for something, you put some products in your cart, and then you leave the site, you come back, and the products are cart. That's thanks to a first-party cookie.
And with these third-party cookies, John, other than behavioral stuff, what kind of things is it tracking? Because these third-party cookies, there's a lot of companies that have built their entire businesses around planting third-party cookies to do tracking and coding and attribution. Talk to us about other than the behavioral stuff. What are these third-party cookies touch?
Third-party cookies are also what's reporting your analytics traffic. A big problem that is trying to be solved right now is conversion traffic or conversion measurement and analytics traffic. So, for example, Firefox dumps third-party cookies every 24 hours, right? And so if the same user comes to your website multiple times in a month, but they do that spaced out in a couple of days apart, that's going to look like 3 unique users hitting your website instead of it being the actual one. So it muddies up our data a whole lot. But what also happens with those third-party cookies is being able to attribute where a sale came from. So on what website did that ad perform and get clicked on and then lead to a conversion? That's another third-party cookie device that we won't be able to see anymore. So conversion measurement is going to take a big hit. Analytics are going to take a big hit. And then there's a lot more that they also affect, because third-party cookies can collect data on really anything. And this is the story as to why Google's doing this, right, is a matter of privacy, because third-party cookies will collect your location data. It'll collect, if it can, demographic data on you, such as your age, what sex you are, all of these different factors that could be put into delivering a personalized messaging. But personally, what makes me most sad is that it means that this is pretty much the death of my personal goal, which is one-to-one marketing and communication.
So in the guise of data privacy protection, what they're really getting rid of is our ability to target customers to get them the right messages. So now customers, careful what you ask for, because now you're going to get hit with stuff that's completely irrelevant to you. So it's not, in my opinion, this is really bad for consumers and it's really bad for marketers. So with that, we're going to take a quick break, hit the commercial, and then we'll come back and continue the conversation. Take it away, Paul.
We know you rely on your CRM system, and it's usually a love-hate relationship. Most CRM systems, well, let's face it, they're expensive. They're hard to understand. People don't use them properly. And you're probably paying for features that you don't even want. If that's your case, then maybe it's time to simplify. It's time to get more from your CRM. Why don't you go back to the original? Trust Goldmine. We helped pioneer the industry, after all. Goldmine CRM is, well, it's simple, it's affordable, and it's proven. If all those sound appealing to you, if you're just tired of the CRM headaches that you're getting from trying to implement something that's just too complicated, too expensive, and too much for you to figure out, then why not go back to the original? Visit Goldmine today, goldmine.com. Okay, you guys are scaring me here. When does all this take effect? Is it already started?
They've already started implementing it as of January. They plan to have it fully implemented by 2022, right, John?
Right, yep. So they've started what is called same-site cookies, which is if you have a major provider that's putting the cookies on your website right now, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're actually going in and you're advanced enough that you're writing your own cookies, and somehow you've missed that same-site cookies is a thing, you need to deep dive into same-site cookies as of yesterday and get that updated on your site, or you're going to lose that visibility here really, really soon. And that's kind of Google's soft launch, because we were saying earlier, they haven't figured out how they're going to fix the problems that are being caused by getting rid of third-party cookies. It's an open source conversation on GitHub right now that has a lot of people like me at the edge of our seats just waiting to see what they come up with as a solution.
Yeah, right. Talking about causing panic across the entire industry. You know, one of the things I was reading, John, is their solution for this is this thing that they're going to come out with called Google APIs. You familiar with those?
Right. Yep. That's one of the solutions that are being thrown out is these the set of 5 different APIs that are going to answer the problems we have with like conversion tracking, targeting, analytics, things like that.
Yeah, because they said they're going to come out with the Trust API, which is going to replace CAPTCHA. They're coming out with a budget API. I don't know what the heck what that is, but they're going to. Your website is going to get a budget of how much data you can collect on the people. I wonder how they're going to figure that one out. Who gets the most, who gets the little. And then they've got a conversion API, so there still will be some conversions. And then they're going to have this thing, what was it called? It was Pigeon, right? So there's some kind of private interest group thing. So there's still going to be some like affinity or cohort group or something, but they haven't really defined it. I mean, who knows what they're going to do? And so
at least so we don't send anyone into a panic right away. These are just the ideas that are being presented right now. None of these API ideas are set in stone, but you're right. Pigeon's one of them, which it stands for private interest groups, including noise, which what they would intend to do is to allow marketers to still be able to target individuals based on behavior. Say, for example, you're a hunting and fishing guy and you go to a lot of different hunting and fishing websites. Well, they're going to put you in a group that'll have to exceed a certain threshold, right, of X many thousand users that are within this group, and then allow marketers to target specific groups. And that's one of the options that's being presented, as well as, like you said, the trust idea by using where you'll have budget on how much behavioral data you can purchase, but only a limited amount, right? So I'll be able to find out what your hobbies are, but I won't be able to figure out your age or something like that where it's done on a budget. I don't know. We'll see if that one goes through. That seems a little wishy-washy to me, and I got to hope that the people at Google will land on it.
And let's be honest, Google is not a neutral player in this. I mean, to me, this seems like nothing more than a power grab by Google. They're going to get all the control, and they're taking it all away from the marketers, and it's going to create chaos. It's like I said earlier, I think this is bad for consumers. I think it's bad for marketers, and I think it's extremely bad for a lot of marketing companies, like in the software vendor space, who do like retargeting and marketing automation and those kind of things. It has potential to kill industries.
Oh, right. Well, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. There's definitely going to be some losers that are going to come out of this. Some, just like when they eliminated keyword data from your analytics, and that killed a bunch of SEO companies across the world. This is absolutely going to take out some industries. Yeah. Now, your large publishers are going to be right.
We have a large audience, and I don't know for sure if there's anybody from Google who listens into these shows, but if you are from Google, stop it. Just stop it. Like, you are making everything so difficult for marketers. Just stop it. Will you make it easy for us to market? Like, everything they do, they just launch these things and don't tell us, and it just creates this chaos and increases cost, decreases what we're getting out of this stuff, and it's driving everybody nuts. Could you be more marketer friendly, please? Paul, you want to jump in on something?
I do. I have a quick question that somebody tweeted in here and wants to know, and I think you provoked this when you started your rant here, Stacy. The question reads something like this. I'll paraphrase it. If they've taken away third-party cookies, is that what you guys are saying? That you can't
that's what they're doing.
Third-party cookies here.
Not yet. Not till 2022.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that's the goal, if that's where they're going, and then they're going to substitute these other, whatever they're going to come up with, these APIs and stuff, some other types of data collection things. Is that just another way for Google to control the collection of data and to resell it? Is this going to raise, we're just going to have to buy it from them rather than try and procure it or come up with it ourselves? Is that where this is headed?
It's a great question, and that's on everybody's mind. And so if you actually go, Google did a study on their own to find out how much revenue are ad-providing platforms and publishers going to lose. And they quoted it that like a large publisher stands to lose like 54% of their ad revenue thanks to this move. But then they made sure to put in there that they're one of those people too. And there's a lot of talk about like antitrust violations and different types of things that Google's going to be facing lawsuit-wise when they open this up and when they do this. Because, yeah, it does look very clearly that Google has the potential to abuse this. And
trust me, that there's going to be something else that's going to come out of this that's going to benefit Google financially for sure. So, John, while we've only got a couple of minutes left, we could talk about this for hours, but let's talk about some things that people can start doing right now to get ready for 2022 or somewhere in between whenever Google decides to drop this nuclear bomb.
So if you've been doing marketing since before retargeting and PPC became a major dominant force, you remember the old times where we sat around and we figured out what our customers and our buyers were interested in, and we marketed on the places they're most likely to be. So going back to our hunting and fishing example, if I'm going to try to sell fishing lures, I'm going to buy ad space on fishing and blogging websites. And that's going to be the contextual-based marketing is going to become a major player again in how we get things done. And then first-party-based marketing.
So for example, when you go into Google and you're running display ads, you're not going to be able to target it towards a demographic. You're going to have to do more direct placements.
Exactly. Right. Yep. 100%.
Email subscription lists, right? You're going to have to create a ton of content and build a really magnetic brand. And when I say content, I'm talking everything, especially video, right? So you're going to have to become a content creator to draw people to come into you so that you have an audience that you can go to, because just pushing stuff out now, you can forget it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so big publishers that already have an audience aren't going to take much of a hit from this, but your small players, especially someone that's getting started up and is really planning on using like pay-per-click as a way to get brand awareness and to get their name out there, are going to need to pivot to a different strategy. You've got 2 years to collect as much first-party data and first-party cookies as you can for this big change. It's going to make it an absolute imperative.
And you know who ironically might benefit from this is salespeople. Companies who have trimmed their sales staffs might have to put more people back on the phones.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, until someone comes up with better ideas, it's kind of like we're reverting back to an older way of marketing, which, like I said, it makes me sad because I've been on this quest to get to one-to-one communication, and I got to replan and strategize how I'm going to get that done. But
okay. Well, that pretty much wraps up our show today. If anybody's more interested in talking about this, you know where to find me. John, where do they find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn. If you've got questions on what to do in the future with this, or you're looking to work on building out some persona-based marketing, some more personalized marketing tracks that are going to get you higher levels of engagement, reach out to me on LinkedIn, and we'll see if I can help you out.
At Jonathan Eickman, Eickman. And everybody who's listening, make sure to check out our webinar on the 27th, where we cover QuickBooks and CRM integration. Talk to you then. Take it away, Paul. Thanks, John.
Thanks.
You've been listening to another example of why you got to tune in each and every week. CRM Radio today. Because changes are happening. Like today.